Welcome, dreamers and adventurers, to Castles to Cauldrons, the podcast where we journey from magical castles to wizarding cauldrons and beyond. Join Jason, Rachel, Terry, and Micah, and together they'll be your travel guides through the enchanting worlds of Disney, Universal, and all your favorite travel destinations. Whether you're daydreaming of fairy tale castles, spellbinding theme parks, or just looking for your next adventure, they're here to sprinkle a bit of pixie dust on your travel plans. As knowledgeable travel agents, they're here to help answer questions, recommend, and navigate planning your dream trips. So grab your wand, pack your bags, and get ready to explore with us as they uncover hidden gems, share insider tips, and dive into the wonders of travel. It's time to turn your wanderlust into reality and let the adventure begin. Welcome to Castles to Cauldrons, where every journey starts with a little bit of magic.
All right, welcome to episode 3 of Castles to Cauldrons. I'm your host, Jason. I'm here with Rachel, Terry, and Micah, and we have a guest of Christine Rush, who's one of our agents who we'll be talking to a little bit later. First, I'm going to jump in with some pretty cool news that we have with Disneyland bookings. We got official word that the bookings for 2025 have started. If you don't know, Disneyland is celebrating their 70th anniversary next year. And while we don't have too much information about that, it's going to be a good year. There's a new fireworks show they've talked about. New nighttime parade was kind of teased. And then Disney Destiny bookings will open on September 6th for the Pearl Castaway Club members. And then from then on, it's September 9th for the Platinum, September 10th for the Gold, September 11th for the Silver, and September 12th is for the general booking. So if you've never sailed with Disney Cruise Line, that's when you get to sail. It will be going out of Fort Lauderdale. So this is going to be its home port, correct?
Yes.
All right. Well, Christine, let's introduce you right quick. She's one of our agents at Magical Travel. We have her on today because she's experienced with the Disney disability system and the Universal disability system. And then she just went to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. So we're going to talk about those two things with her today. Christine, just tell us a little bit about the history you have of being a travel agent and whatnot.
Hi. Well, thank you, first of all, for having me on just the very third podcast of Castles Cauldrons. My name is Christine Rush. I'm a travel agent with Magical Travel for about 9 years now. I reside in northwestern New Jersey, just shy of the Delaware River. So most of my clients will come from either New Jersey or Pennsylvania. We kind of just blend them right together. And I do have a 14 and 17-year-old sons, and my 14-year-old is semi-verbal. For the most part, there's not much spontaneous language, so sometimes we'll use the words nonverbal, but he is autistic. So we have used Disney's and Universal's attraction assistance or disability pass since he was 5 years old. That was the first time we took him there. So thank you for having me.
I don't usually hear on podcasts people talk about these services that the theme parks offer. So I think it's very important for us to kind of talk about it and let people know the ins and outs a little bit. It's not a lot to, we can't go fully in depth, I guess, on it because there's not a lot to it, but there is stuff people need to know and what they need to do before they get to the parks. So what's the difference between the Disney DAS and the Universal IAC?
So Disney is the only theme park company, I'll say, for lack of better words, that does not use a universal, I don't mean Universal Studios, but a universal classifying system. So Disney has its own system. We call it DAS for short, Disability Access Service. And what you do is you schedule a Zoom call with a cast member 30 days before your check-in date or 30 days before your first park visit. You'll meet with a cast member first. They'll ask you a few questions on, what are your concerns about waiting in lines? What is your the child or the adult's inability to wait long periods of time? And if those questions seem to warrant the pass and they want to pass you on further, they'll pass you on to a medical professional that Disney has hired. And they'll go through more questions with you. If you are approved, your disability pass will kind of show up in your My Disney Experience account. And then you can start making your attraction selections as soon as you scan into the park. So you would scan into the park and then you would go on your My Disney Experience app and you would select your first ride and your hour return time. And you do everything via the app, which is really convenient. Back in the day, we used to have to go to the attraction, go to the cast member at the front of the line and they tell you, come back in 90 minutes, which that was hard. That was hard to have, a child that wants to go on this ride and then, you're walking away from it and they're not understanding why they couldn't just go on it. So this is a great service that they provide now. With Universal, it's not via an app or anything. It's actually a card. It's like a piece of paper. I say it looks like a mini golf scorecard. That's what it reminds me of. And they give you a little pencil and stuff. But there you do go to each attraction and they give you a return time. The difference with Universal is you can ride the same ride over and over again if you want to. And if the ride wait time is less than 30 minutes, they usually just let you right on, which is great. So if the wait time is 25 minutes for Escape from Gringotts, we go right through the express pass lane. If it's more than 30 minutes, they'll give you a return time, and then you just come back and check in with them when your time is up, when your time is time to ride the ride. So both work great. They work differently. I think it would be great if we could combine the technology part, the app part of Disney with the applying for the card with Universal ahead of time. And that would be a great system if we could combine the two. But they both work, independent of each other, and they've been wonderful for our family.
Now, when you do for Disney's DAS, when you do the pre-registration, that person that is requesting the DAS pass, they have to be present, correct?
Correct. Yes. Thank you. So my son does need to be present. They try to ask them questions. The person that's present, my son usually doesn't answer, and that kind of secures his pass right away. But then they do ask to take a picture of him. So I make him, get into the screen of my computer. They take a picture. And then that DAS pass is good for, oh my goodness, I can't remember if it's 90 or 120 days.
It's 120 now.
Okay, yeah, they just changed it. So if you go, every couple of months, which we sometimes do, sometimes there won't be a lapse and we'll just get to keep the same disability pass we applied for the last time, which is great.
How long does the IAC one for Universal last?
I believe that was 90 days. And that is, so you're going to go on a website or you can get the app. I have the app on my phone. And what they're applying for is called the IBCCES card. And that's actually what a lot of amusement parks use around the country. We use it at Hershey Park. We can use it at Cedar Point in Ohio. So that's kind of a system that works for pretty much everybody but Disney. So we do have that app on our phone. My son has a card there with his picture and all his information, and we just have to renew that yearly. And then whichever theme park we're visiting, they all have different time periods. But right now, I believe Universal is 90 days. We have to apply for it each time.
Out of Disney and Universal, which system do you think is more accommodating and easier to apply for?
Universal is definitely easier, being that, I have no problem giving them documentation. If you're applying for something like this, there should be no secrets. He has autism. I'm clearly coming out and saying that. So with the IBCCES card, you do have to upload either documentation from a doctor, an IEP from the school. And once they look over all of that, that's when they'll approve you. So I uploaded my son's IEP from school, and he was approved within 72 hours. With Disney, it's kind of based on a cast member's, their discretion. So, it's a little more... there could be some gray areas, could be a little inconsistent. But for the most part, if you're, just like my son, there shouldn't be a question either way.
Because isn't that a change that has recently happened with DAS, like how they're approving people and what essentially what their qualifications are for you to be approved for it?
Yeah. So with Disney right now, I believe this went into effect in, I think it was May.
It was June 24th.
Oh, that late. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't visit before then, right before then. But they ask questions as to, again, what is your inability to wait in line? They don't want to hear the word autism. Autism isn't the only thing that gets approved, but what stops somebody from waiting in line? And, they do have a different system where if you're not approved, they tell you to use the return to line system. So that would be if you got into line with your family, let's say you needed to leave the line, due to whatever issue is coming about at that moment, your family would stay in line. You would leave the line and, whatever it is you needed to take care of. And then you would just use the lightning lane to meet back with your family, but you would still wait the same amount of time that your family is already in the line. So you're not skipping anything. It's just either they'll send you through the lightning lane to meet up with them if they're pretty close to the front, or they'll try and help you scoot by some guests to catch up with your family.
Christine, do you think that this helps you take, so some people might see a child that has a special need as a hindrance to the park, but do you feel like the parks really work with you to make it the easiest possible way for you and your family to enjoy the parks using the system?
Absolutely. We waited till my son was 5, which was hard because I was 5 years. We didn't go to Disney, which was odd for our family. But my first thing I wanted to overcome was just flying on a plane. For 2.5 hours, I was worried about how he would react on the plane and stuff like that. So what we actually did is we're a family of 4. Myself and him sat in the window seat and the aisle seat, and I put my husband and my other son in the 2 seats right in front of us. So if my son were to, kick or, maybe bother the seat in front of us, he'd be bothering my family, not a stranger, on the plane. But believe it or not, I know this is a little sidetrack, but believe it or not, the humming of the plane or the engines and stuff like that kind of just knocked him out and put him to sleep.
White noise is great on an airplane.
Yeah, it's fabulous. I knew it, but I didn't think it would work for him, but it sure did. His first flight, I think, and it wasn't like it was real early in the morning or late at night. I think it was an afternoon flight, but he slept almost the whole 2-hour flight down. And, he's been on probably 100 different flights since then. He's just a phenomenal traveler. He puts his backpack on, he takes his carry-on and carts it down the runway, and hands it to me. I put it in the overhead and puts his seatbelt on. He's ready to go. So, so we waited till age 5. So again, once we got past the plane, the flight, and figured that all out, he loves sleeping in new hotels. He calls it new room. So I say, come on, we're going to a new room. And he gets all excited because he likes, new rooms, new places to see. But yes, the parks are absolutely fabulous, with him and children and adults just like him. I can't say a bad thing about it. We enjoy our time in the parks. It's our favorite vacation. That's why we do it so often. And we don't even have a question about, going to any of the parks now. It's great.
So I was actually talking to someone the other day who was wanting to go to Disney, but they were afraid because their child has autism. And I was letting them know that Disney has places like the baby care centers and places like that where it's like sensory friendly and they can go and kind of get away from the noise and stuff if that's something that's going to happen. They didn't even know things like that were offered at theme parks. So they were really happy to hear that Disney and other theme parks also have those types of things to help.
Yeah. I usually let my clients that are traveling with children, similar to my son, about the baby care centers. And then I'll also give them some quiet spots around the parks. Our family likes to particularly, we like to keep moving, hence not standing in line so much. So sometimes, it's just getting on the train because the train just showed up at the station that we're walking by. I know it's going to take off in about 3-4 minutes. We hop on a train and that keeps us moving. Sometimes we'll use it as a mode of transportation to get, let's say we're in the back of Magic Kingdom by Storybook Circus, and I know we need to get out. We had enough for today. If the train's pulling up, hop on that, take it to the front of the park, and then just walk around, the front of Magic Kingdom. We'll get on the monorail, just something to escape the busyness of the parks. So, but each park usually has a couple of great spots to escape to. So it's awesome.
I really appreciate your insight. We're taking my aunt who's in her 60s in November, and she has cerebral palsy, and she's also had some strokes. So she has some mental disabilities and stuff as well. And she's so excited to go. and just learning about these different things and how we can make the trip like better for her and for her to just have the best experience possible. Like I've been watching tons of videos about it and just trying to read as many things so we can just make sure that, you know, she's comfortable and has fun and doesn't get overwhelmed and everything in the whole thing. So I enjoy, like, I read your stuff that you post and anything like that so that I'm just better prepared when we go in November.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing, you know, most of us families that live with autism know is it is a spectrum. It's called a spectrum for a reason. So every child and every person, you know, is different. So although I give lots of, you know, tips to my clients and friends that ask, you know, I can't know what their exact situation will be when they get there and stuff like that, but try and, you know, hit a couple of the highlights that I think could, you know, a situation that could come up while they're there. But I always just tell people just go at the flow of the person who has those special needs. You know, like my son is a go, 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 go. We can't stop. And then there's other families that, you know, they may hit 3 or 4 rides and that's it for them. And that's fine. You know, just don't go in with, you know, expectations that you're going to hit every single ride and meet every single character and eat every single snack. Just go and enjoy the parks, just walking around and looking up, watching that person smile, taking in the sights, the smells, the sounds, you know, is truly a pleasure, truly a joy in our life.
I think that's one thing in your situation with using the passes. Yeah, you get to schedule everything, but at the same time, you can slow down a little bit while you're moving just to enjoy what the parks put into these lands and these rides and really see the smiles of your family and the enjoyment that they're all getting from it.
Yep. And I will say for as many times as we've been, you know, my son pretty much knows these parks inside out. So he actually does more talking when we're in Disney World than anywhere else. He talks more in Disney World than when he's in school or than when he's home, because I make him answer me. If I know he knows the words, he knows the rides, you know, the names, he knows where they are. So, you know, we walk down Main Street and I said, what ride do you want to go on first? And he says, Space Mountain. I say, where is it? And he points over towards Tomorrowland and we make a right, you know, we head straight there. So it's really done, you know, and I tell my clients this too, you know, really has done wonders for his speech as well. Because, you know, when he's motivated for something, he will speak. And so he's motivated for those rides. So we get lots of verbal out of him. So another great reason to visit the parks.
I was just going to ask, so what is his favorite ride and snack in the parks then, since he's been so many times and he's an expert?
Well, I'm going to pass that back to you guys. Do any of you know? Some of you who know me longer should know because we write about it often. Rachel, you know what it is?
No, I can't remember what his favorite snack and favorite ride are.
Jason, no? We didn't talk about this over dinner one time?
If we did, I was still so new that we were just like, I was trying to remember people's names.
I hear you. Anyway, it is Rock and Roller Coaster at Hollywood Studios. So
That's my son's favorite too.
So believe it or not, we did not visit the parks during this 4-month refurbishment it had because I really feared that if he went to Hollywood Studios and we went and made that right at the Starbucks there and he couldn't go on that ride, we might have a problem. So we stayed away during the refurbishment just for that one ride. That's what I mean when I talk about like planning accordingly, you know, going with the flow of the person that, you know, has this disability. I knew that's his ride. And I was like, I'm not taking a chance. We're not going to Hollywood Studios and we're not even going to go to Disney during those 4 months. That was our break. It was good.
I have to say the one thing that's really stuck with me by talking with you about the autism spectrum is your story about when you booked a water view or a pool view.
Oh, yeah.
And Alex just wanted to be in that pool because he saw it from the room window. And like that is such a great piece of information to help someone with a child that's on the spectrum, knowing what the triggers are and knowing if they love the water, they see the pool, they're going to want to go in it. So let's not book that pool view room. Let's book a resort view or let's book a courtyard view.
Yeah. So my first trip, my second trip with Alex, my son's name is Alex, with Alex, I booked through Magical Travel. That's how I learned of our agency. And I think my travel agent thought she was, you know, obviously doing us the best service by booking us the water view room at the beach club. you know, and we had a great view. Oh my gosh, you saw the quiet pool, and then past that, you looked over and saw, Crescent Lake with the boardwalk and everything. And as soon as my son saw all that water, he just kept saying pool, 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 pool. So at 2:00 in the morning, all the lights went on, and we were saying pool, pool, pool. So yeah, we for a couple of years we did not book any water view or theme park view rooms, because I thought maybe if he looked out the window and saw something, he expects to have it immediately, instant gratification. So we looked at a lot of parking lots for a couple of years, and that was fine. We always know that's a lesser room rack rate anyway. But then he's got past that now, and he knows he has to wait until the sun comes out to go into the pool. So, but yes, that's a great story.
So when it comes to like character interaction, what does Disney, Universal, what do they do that kind of makes it better or one-ups it for you and your family when you take Alex to see somebody like Mickey Mouse or a Minion or something like that?
Yeah, so with him particularly, characters are not his favorite quote unquote attraction. So we don't seek them out. But I do like to visit, as many dining experiences as I can, just for intel for my clients and stuff. So we do a lot of character meals. So that's probably where he's getting the most character experiences. And they just know, they are just trained. They can just, we have this one experience where we went to Hollywood and Vine, and I have a picture and a video of it where, my son, when a character gets too close, sometimes he'll put his hands over his ears, and she was going to keep walking by. And I told Minnie, I'm like, no, please come over. We have to get past this. And I think Minnie would be the best person to get past that with, and she kneeled down on the ground and just kept just lightly, put her hand on his knee and was just looking, just like stroking his hand and saying, it's okay, I'm here. And then all of a sudden he looked up, he started smiling. Then he was touching her nose, touching her ears, touching her bow. And I'm just sitting there sobbing. You can see my video, it's shaking because I was crying so hard. But they are trained to know, when it's too much, when it's not enough, or maybe they need to go in a different route. But yes, they are absolutely fabulous. I mean, my son loves the Marvel characters over at Universal Orlando. So when we see Spider-Man, we're all about that. He does the poses and everything, and they are so great with him. They really are. So I'm very thankful for those experiences.
That literally made me tear up. Like that, just the joy that he probably was able to experience, actually kind of getting over that initial fear or just being overwhelmed with the character being there, and them being so patient and kind and just taking their time to help him with that.
And the best part about it was after Minnie was done interacting with my son, she just looked at me and opened up her arms, and she gave me a hug, and she just kept patting me on the back as if to say, I got it. I know what you're going through, and you're doing a great job. I'm going to tear up now. What are you doing to me? I'm out of here. But anyway, yes. I mean, she hugged me in a special way that I knew she knew, a little bit about our lives with that quick 3-minute interaction, So, that's why I'm a love of all things Disney, and Universal. I mean, Universal Orlando is absolutely fabulous with my son. The employees over there, the characters, the hotels we've stayed at, just above and beyond.
I don't have experience with this. So it's great when I'm in the parks and I'm, behind somebody and seeing the team members, the cast members, and how they interact with the people and that have special needs. I mean, it's great because they do take their time. They do really try to one up their experience and make sure, because you don't know if that family's going to be able to go back because of the price or something like that. And maybe the kid's not having a good reaction. We were at Toy Story opening day, and I remember a little girl just running out, and there was a slew of cast members, following her to make sure she was okay and that the family had what they needed. So it's always just been in my brain that Disney, Universal, they know how to take care of these guests and make sure they're having the best time they can have.
Absolutely. And I always looked at it, when I was booking our trips and stuff, is that, I do have another son, that he shouldn't be shortchanged a vacation, because of, his brother and stuff like that. Not that I would, make my younger son suffer through a vacation or something like that. But sometimes we do divide and conquer. When he was younger, there were certain things that, just weren't going to happen for him, and so I would take my younger son one way and my husband would take my older son another way. We'd hit a ride or two or whatever it was, and then say, I'll meet you back at, Crystal Palace at 3:30, as a meet spot, and then we'd continue on with our day, But as he's gotten older, it has gotten much better for us, and we pretty much don't divide anymore unless they're tired. I mean, so the other night when we were at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party, my older son and my husband were tired by like 9:30, and they wanted to go back to the room. We were staying at the Polynesian Resort, so it was right across, Seven Seas Lagoon there. And I was like, there is no way, and you know what? I'm leaving right now. And Alex and I are all geared up and everything, and we got back to the room at 1 a.m. and they were sound asleep. So he can hang more than the older kids and my husband could. So he's my travel companion for life.
So I'm going to throw it to Terry for an ad break, and we'll be back on the other side.
Are you dreaming of your next adventure but overwhelmed by planning? Magical Travel has you covered. With over 22 years in the business, we specialize in Disney destinations, Universal Studios, cruise vacations, and all-inclusive resort getaways. Our services are 100% complimentary when you book a vacation package with one of our knowledgeable agents. Request a free quote to start the planning process at magicaltravel.com. Mention our podcast to be connected with one of our agents you are listening to if you like what you hear.
Christine, with the DAS system, the DAS system, and Not So Scary Halloween Party, is there any difference for what it is during the day and what it is during the night?
Nope, it works exactly the same way. It just doesn't start till 7 p.m. So with the party ticket, even though you are allowed to enter the Magic Kingdom at 4 p.m., if that's the only ticket you have that day, like you don't have a regular park ticket for that day, then the DAS pass would not start till 7 p.m. at the time that the party starts. But other than that, it's the same thing. You go into the app, you select your attraction, they give you a return time, and you go through the lightning lane just like you did during the daytime. Not So Scary Halloween Party. I'm a huge, like I've talked about before, huge Halloween Horror Night person. So I don't go to Mickey's Not So Scary every year like I go to HHN multiple times a year. But I do love it. I think it's a great extra ticketed event. And being able to trick or treat and everything. So what's different this year than what they've had in the previous years?
I think everything that I have seen online is they have a new meet and greet with Bruno and Mirabelle, and they're going to be meeting in the Fantasy Gardens. And I don't know if this is true or not. What I was trying to see was that Mickey and Minnie are actually meeting together this year for you to have pictures with them versus it being just like Mickey separate. And then it used to be Minnie was with like Daisy and Donald and stuff over in Storybook Circus and their costumes. Did you see them this year, Christine?
No, I didn't. So we really used Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party as a way to hit as many rides as we could. So we did not see any character meet and greets formally. I mean, we did see like Tweedledee and Tweedledum over by the Mad Tea Party. We did see Queen of Hearts. We saw Winnie the Pooh and Friends over by the 100 Acres Wood. But I did not see Mickey and Minnie per se. I do believe they're in the back at Storybook Circus. Is that correct?
I thought it said they were going to be at Town Square Theater, but it was... a lot of this information was coming out like right before the party was starting and it wasn't done. And I wasn't able to like verify or find pictures or anything if they were together or even what their costumes like were this year from people that have been to the parties.
Yeah, I didn't. They weren't out walking around, as we know. They don't do that. But I know Jack and Sally are at Town Square Theater. So I thought they pushed Mickey and Minnie back to Storybook Circus during the party.
They may have. I was trying to find it, but I just couldn't find anything that was like giving me like an actual answer.
It is good to note that these characters during the Halloween party, like Mickey and Minnie, Goofy, all those guys, they're all in Halloween costumes. So like the Pooh gang, they're all with their actual Halloween costumes themselves. Like I think Eeyore's a clown or something like that.
It's so cute.
And this is also the time that you're going to see a lot of the villains out, and like you can get a picture with Jafar and stuff like that. So it's great to be able to walk around and see the quote unquote scarier Disney characters that are out. Like it was mentioned, Jack and Sally. That's the one that will open with the park for the event. So you want to meet Jack and Sally. It's usually a 2 hour waits from what I've seen.
Yeah, I always feel like Jack and Sally are the longest wait times for the character meet and greets at any party, even the Christmas party.
I was going to say, I met them at the Christmas party once, and our strategy was to go to the line at like 11:30 and be one of the last people that were allowed in the line, and we still waited probably like 45 minutes. But I will say the one thing about the Jack and Sally character meet and greet is they take their time with you. Like, I think we were there for a good 5 or 6 minutes, like just our group. I mean, we had videos, we had pictures. We FaceTimed our kids, and Jack was talking to one of our kids on the phone. I mean, it was great. So well worth the wait.
I've always liked Jack and Sally. The one time I met them right before they moved, because they moved them from, they were at the front of the park.
They used to be in the gazebo. Weren't they in the gazebo in Liberty Square?
At one point, yes. That was where they were before this one, before they moved them to Town Square Theater. Then they were in that little nook between guest services and the restrooms, if I remember right. Because he said something about the fan to me and calling it a head chopper or something like that. So, but those are some of my favorite ones. So, if you're going to see those characters, make sure you're getting to see get in line in a good time, because some of those, like I said, Jack and Sally, 2 hours a lot of the time.
Siobhan and I are going October 15th to the Halloween party, and I hope I can get in to see Jack and Sally, because I have yet to have a picture with them after all these years. So I am hoping to be able to do that in October.
I will say the one thing that was different about the party this year versus years past, because I pretty much go every year, is they moved the first parade, the first Boo to You parade, to much earlier. And we decided to wait for the later one because at that earlier time, it actually wasn't dark out yet. So it kind of felt weird to see the Headless Horseman come down Main Street in like dusk, or maybe even a little earlier than dusk. So when I looked up in the sky and I was like, wait, a parade's going to start in 5 minutes? This doesn't seem Boo to You-ish to me. So we actually waited for the one at 11:30 instead.
And I think that's the best parade. I love Boo to You. Yeah. It is such a good parade.
My favorite.
The song gets stuck in your head. I love the Boo to You parade.
My favorite part are the dancing, like the grave diggers. Yes, with the shovels. Yeah. Like, as being a dancer back in the day, the choreography, I love it.
As much as I hate that sound in real life of a shovel hitting asphalt or cement, if for some reason when you see them dancing with the sparks, it's really awesome.
It's because you have the Boo to You song going with
it. That's right.
Yeah.
I'm in the minority. Yes. I don't like the parade as much. I mean, I like it. I'll go watch it, but I like the Christmas parade better.
I mean, the Christmas parade's fun, but the Boo to You parade is just, I don't know, the song, everything is just great about it. And then the whole villain section that they have, where all the villains, I love it.
I think it's just so much more different than your normal fantasy Disney. Everything's happy-go-lucky, no bad things really happen. That the Boo to You is still kid-friendly, so you don't feel it's not a 180 turn, but it's a little bit different than their norm kind of bubbles and rainbows. So I think everyone. I've never talked to anyone that didn't like it. So.
And I like that they add in different characters, like a lot of the like Pixar characters that you have, like Woody and Buzz will be in there, and sometimes Jessie will be there. So you have different characters that aren't the typical ones during like the Festival of Fantasy parade, like where it's just like the princesses, they're Mickey and Minnie and Donald and Daisy and those. I like that we have a variety.
I like the trick or treating.
Yeah,
I think for the kids to be able to trick or treat. Is just a great thing. I don't know if you guys saw, but Anna, with her daughters on the bed, and the amount of candy that they got was just insane. And then as an allergy mom, the fact that they, cater to an allergy is fantastic. They get a teal bag, they can go and they can trade out their candy for safe foods. I think that the fact that they, including, people with an allergy are great.
I think it's a huge draw, because I've seen people coming out with multiple bags themselves, just they fill up one bag, so they end up going and getting another bag. Each person in the family have 2 or 3 bags.
We actually started diverting away from the trick or treat because we're like, who's going to eat all this candy? The kids are going to want to eat it. We're going to have to hide it from them. So we kind of started diverting them away from the trick because they give you so much, which is unheard of.
Yeah, like these days. Each station doesn't just give you one candy bar. They take a scoop in that big barrel and just throw it all in your bag. And
it's good candy too, because Mars sponsors it. So it's good candy.
Did y'all get a lot of candy, Christine?
No, my kids are not candy people. They're not sweet. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with them, but they're not sweets kids. They're salty kids. So the chips and stuff. So no, we didn't have to partake in that.
Did you get any of the special snacks or the drinks that are only available during the party?
So I got a Jack cupcake. I believe I got that at Storybook Treats, which was really, really good. And then my son got what was it called? I don't even remember, but it was the one that looks like dirt and worms coming out of it.
It's like the grave or something like that.
I mean, we make a dirt cake here at home, so something similar to
it's
that.
It's like a churro. And it's got
it was a whole bunch of stuff coming up. I know it was like they crumbled up Oreo cookies on the top and there were gummy worms coming out of it, to kind of look like the graveyard or something. But he got a kick out of that and he was happy.
Now, did you and the boys dress up at all? Since, it's the only time that an adult can wear a costume in the theme parks.
But it was also August 16th in Florida. So we tend to always go to one of the first Halloween parties of the year. So one year we did dress up all as superheroes. Like I was Captain America, Alex was Spider-Man, Zach was Iron Man, and my husband was the Hulk. So we did do that. But we were so hot within the first hour. I said, you know what, for our family, we really like to enjoy the party. And we do a lot of rides during that time. So now we just get like matching T-shirts or something, something festive, Halloween attire. But no, we do not do the full-on costumes anymore. But I will say the ones we saw were great. There's one girl walking around that was dressed as like the old Fast Pass tickets.
That is awesome.
Oh my God, I stopped her and I was like, you definitely won tonight. That is a fabulous costume. So, but yeah, some people get all decked out. It's great to see. I mean, that's part of going to the Halloween party at the Magic Kingdom is, checking out all the costumes of all the other guests. A lot of people.
Some people, like that girl with the Fast Pass thing, they're so creative with some of the things that they come up with to wear to these parties.
Well, because if they wore that costume in their own town, half the people would probably be like, what is that? Who are you? What are you dressed up as? But you walk Magic, Main Street USA Magic Kingdom, and everybody knew what that was. And everybody would stop and take a picture with her,
even then,
which is really cool.
Some of the huge fans go out there and do like Buzzy, and people are still like, who are you? It's like, I'm Buzzy from Premium Command.
Rachel, are you and Siobhan going to dress up?
We haven't talked about it yet. We just got the invite this week. And so we know that we're going on October 15th with the Earmarked conference. But no, we haven't discussed. We probably will because, Siobhan likes a good matching outfit.
Yeah.
You should.
No, I think we will.
She has a good costume, I think, left over from when she went to the Galactic Star Cruiser.
Oh, yeah. I still have mine from when I was supposed to go and she took my spot. So
that would work.
Yeah, we could do that.
What I was going to say earlier was that the negative to the Halloween parties, and this also goes back to what Universal does at HHN, is how early these things start. It's August, the first week in August, right? Was the first party for this?
Yeah, I think it was August 9th or something.
Yeah, it's the 9th.
9th,
right.
yeah.
So you're sitting there, 3 months before Halloween, trying to get in the mood for being spooky and whatnot. And it's just like, okay, let's get this costume, and it's 230 degrees, and it's just storming. So I get it. Disney's trying to make the most of it and get as much as they can because they can only do the Christmas party for so long, and it's just getting more and more popular because the wait times for the rides that you can take advantage of and stuff like that.
I don't mind that it starts early. I think it's a good strategy because, people then have more options to go and visit the parks and to experience the decor and the parties. So, but I get where you're coming from, where it's like, it's hot, it's August, the kids haven't even started school yet, pumpkin spice isn't out yet. different, but
Yeah.
I think it's good to give people the option for a few months. But I have to say, like, just watching the party tickets sell out for certain dates, very shocked by some random dates selling out before, others. So
I didn't realize, I don't know if I asked it amongst us the other day. I thought it was very odd that September 13th sold out so early. I'm like, what the heck is September 13th? And I didn't realize this year it's a Friday the 13th.
Oh.
Look, I surprised you guys too.
I would be at HHN
that was
that night
maybe
if
I
could.
read it in a. What's
I
that?
would be at HHN that night if I could, because it's supposed to be like.
Yeah,
great.
I mean, yeah, Friday the 13th is all about horror, but I guess that was a hot ticket, so that was one of the first ones to sell out. So learn something new.
Yeah, the second week of October sold out.
Some schools are doing some weird fall breaks during
And is
that
it a
time.
fall break or like year-round schools? Is that one of the track out times?
I think so, because like my son's school, we started 2 weeks earlier than normal, and we have like a Thursday, Friday,
October 11th.
a Monday in October. So we have like a weird little like longer weekend. So I wonder if other schools are doing something similar in October.
We're coming down because we knew it was a holiday.
Yeah, my son's school is the weekend after, which didn't make sense. I was like, why would they not do it over a holiday weekend? But they're not. They're doing it the weekend after.
I think ours is like the 16th through 18th or something like that too.
Oh, well, Columbus Day is the 14th.
Yeah, but other than that, like up here in the Northeast, we don't have anything off, so that's why I definitely had to take advantage of going to the party in August.
Yeah.
Which that makes sense. I never thought, I'm used to the Southern culture so much of everything revolves around football and random holidays.
Yeah, up here, the only day my kids will be off October 14th for Columbus Day. And then that's it.
Same with
Oh,
us.
wow.
So there's no like before Thanksgiving break up in the Philadelphia area. But they do have off for the first day of hunting.
I mean,
Nice.
Wow, we don't even have that. And I feel like it's a big thing in like where we're at in South Carolina, and we don't have that.
let's get back to the Halloween party.
Yeah.
So speaking of Halloween party, I just wanted to tap on or talk about the weather, because that's, usually when I'm talking to my clients and they're trying to decide when to go and the Halloween party is a priority for them, there's a couple of different things to think about. So August, obviously very hot, if they wanted to wear costumes, keep that in mind and everything. But then we still have that, tropical weather, that system usually comes through every afternoon or, early evening and everything. So I do warn my clients that a lot of times, there could be a good storm that comes through for an hour or two during the Halloween party. I know the other night, like the first parade was canceled because of it. So, just something to keep in mind. My clients that have a little bit more flexibility, I say, why don't you push it closer to Halloween, because we have a less chance of those storms, and then we get a little bit cooler at night. It might be better for some costume wearing. So
there's been many of times where there wasn't a parade at all at night because it rained the entire event or something like that. Luckily, Disney has not taken advantage. Disney helps out with that and lets you either get another ticket for another event, or they won't refund, but they'll put the credit onto your account so you can get another event ticket for next year or something like that. So it's good that they're
I think I
understanding.
saw they were doing that the other day. Like the party was pretty much a wash. Like they had to cancel so much stuff and people weren't able to do stuff that they were doing that. What was that? Just this week, or was it the end of last week?
it was last Friday night. I think that was the one. Yeah, a couple of our agents were at that one, and they said they did do the late parade and they did manage to get the fireworks off, but the early parade and a couple of character meet and greets weren't happening for like the first 3 hours. So I guess Disney felt that wasn't a full party experience. So yeah, they issued them credit for a different one day, I think a 1 day ticket to the theme parks or another party night, which was awesome.
And it's good to know with those rainy days, just like any Disney or Universal day, less people will be in the park. So you can take a really, really good advantage of those trick-or-treat trails and the rides that are able to stay open. So the wait times are so low right now for the parties that they'll be even lower. So no one wants to run around in a costume and be so.
I will say, speaking of wait times during the Halloween party, usually Tron and Tiana's Bayou Adventure are virtual queues, lightning lanes, individual lightning lanes, single pass, that kind of thing. During the Halloween party, they are standby lines. So you just hop online and go right through it. So at one point, Tron was a 15-minute wait and Tiana's was a 20-minute wait, which was wonderful. So people were going on it, multiple times during the party. So if that is a priority for you, going to the If you're going to the Halloween party and attractions, low wait times are a priority for you. Know that those 2 rides do not require anything but the standby line, which was awesome.
That's really good to know that they do that during the parties right now.
Question for someone who doesn't ride rides over here. Do they change Space Mountain during Halloween? I've heard that, but I've never confirmed it because I feel like that would be something that people that are, they love to ride rides, that would be an incentive for them to go to the party. Is there any other ones that change as well? Or
so Space Mountain, what they do is, you think when you go on Space Mountain during the day that it's pitch dark in there. Oh, no, it is not. You'd be surprised what pitch dark really means. So during the Halloween party, there literally is like not a light on. You can't even see your hand in front of your face. So much scarier to ride it like that. And then they play some Halloween type, music while you're on the ride as well. I know the Mad Tea Party has an overlay as well. Not really sure what that is.
I think it's lights and music. Like they have like special lights that flash and stuff. And then like the Halloween music.
And then back in the day, although it was not like this when I went the other night, and I don't know if they're doing it this year, but usually when you were on the line for Pirates of the Caribbean, they had cast members that were like in the queue, like in the ride queue, and they would like queue and stuff and come out of the, I don't know what we call that.
Like they're like in the dungeon or like they're
the dungeon. That's it.
So they would like try to grab you or, make a scene behind there. I thought that was neat.
Yeah, that was cute.
Because also in Haunted Mansion, don't they have people outside of Haunted Mansion, like characters that are be like in the graveyard?
Yep, that's awesome too. And they have, I will say, I honestly don't know how they train these people to have all the lines that they just come up with, but people from the crowd will yell out, how did you die? It's supposed to be a ghost, on the lawn there. And she goes through this whole long story about how her sister pushed her over the edge and she wanted to get back at her sister. So she grabbed her sister's hand and took her with her. So my sister will be here any minute as a ghost because she's dead too. They come up with these things off the cusp. It's just fabulous. It's so much fun. Like
backstories that they have to stick to.
Yeah. And they do this for hours, hours during the party. It's great. I'll also say another great thing about the Halloween party are the magic shots. So like if you have Memory Maker added onto your vacation package, or even if you just bought the one day for the day you're going to the party, there's lots of great magic shots all around the park. So you would definitely want to make sure you take advantage of that as well.
We have a really great one from 2018 where it was me and my husband, my son, and my parents, and it's the Headless Horseman beside us. And we had to look scared, and it was just really cool that they're able to add that in.
Yeah, that is awesome. There's another one with the Hatbox Ghost where your face is in the hat box.
Oh, that's
cool. The Hatbox Ghost is he's holding the hat box and your face is in the hat box. That one's awesome. That's right in front of the Haunted Mansion, closer to the Liberty Square riverboat.
All right, Rachel, you have to go get that picture while you're there.
I'm on it.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about like the fireworks and shows. That something y'all did while you were there with the Hocus Pocus show and the mini fireworks?
So being that I have a child with autism, we usually do skip anything that would have a bunch of people all gathered around tightly together. So we did not watch either one of the shows, although I watched some videos of it online. We did catch the fireworks from the back of the castle, which is, if you're not so interested in the light projection show on the castle, watching it from, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and Under the Sea by the Little Mermaid is a great way to see the fireworks in the sky. But we usually take advantage of, again, the low wait times on the rides during that time. So, but, you can hear the music. It's pumped throughout the park, when it's happening. So, we still get a glimpse of it and everything, but it's just not something that we partake in usually.
When we were there in 2018, my dad had really bad crowd anxiety and stuff too. So he didn't really want to go stand in front of the castle to watch the fireworks. And we actually sat on the steps of the Crystal Palace and watched from over there. Of course, the castle was a little bit obscured by trees and stuff, but we heard all the music. We could see the fireworks. We could see some of the projections, and it was just actually a really good spot. My son was 2 and he could just run around out there and we didn't have to worry about him bumping into people. And it was actually, we found a good spot to experience the fireworks without being in the middle of the crowds. I
know a good attraction to be on during the fireworks is the People Mover. That's always a good one. And if there's nobody over there, nobody waiting online, sometimes the cast members will let you just stay on the ride and not get off and get back on. So you could take that for a loop 2 or 3 times and pretty much catch, the whole show from above Tomorrowland, which
That would
is
be fun.
Yeah, we've watched the fireworks show a couple of times, and it's good. It's enjoyable. The big Jack puppet that they bring out on stage is great. It's like 9 foot tall or something like that. So you don't.
I think that we were sad that was the one thing we couldn't see from where we were, was we couldn't actually see what was happening like on the stage.
Yeah, I think I've said it before, but we've always tried to stake out a spot on Main Street for the fireworks. And we're pretty far back, and we saw them pretty fine. And it was like, oh, this is crazy. I was expecting them to like cheap out on it and make it kind of small. But I've never seen the Hocus Pocus show.
I have the Hocus Pocus Villain Spectacular.
Yeah.
I saw it 5 years ago with my kids. And I think it's good for like younger kids. Like, like right now, like my kids are older. They're going to want to, do the rides instead. But I think, Oogie Boogie, like how fun is it to see Oogie Boogie on stage? Like he's just a character that you don't typically get to see. So for younger kids, I think that the Hocus Pocus Villain Spectacular is pretty neat.
I think we need to take Travis this year because he's all about Oogie Boogie. He calls him Oogie Oogie. So we were.
Yes, take him.
We took him last year. In fact, the picture showed up the other day on Facebook, but he had a good time. He loved it, but he didn't know any of the villains or anything like that. Now we're starting to watch more and more Disney movies, and he knows who Wreck-It Ralph is and Vanellope. So when that part of the parade comes by, he would know who they are. Seeing Oogie on stage, we watched the Oogie Boogie Bash. Some people doing that in California, and he was like, "Where's Oogie Boogie?" So when he came on, he's like, "Is he a villain?" I'm like, "Yes, he's a villain." We've gone through this. Yeah. So overall, I think the parties that Disney does are always a great thing to go to and to see. Big thing is, like Christine was stating, if fireworks aren't your cup of tea, if you have family members that can't do it, and the parades even get crowded, those are great times to go and just do rides, because those rides, those wait times, you're gonna see them real low, since everybody's crowding around to see those things. So like Tron, being able to get on Tron in 15 minutes, it's kind of worth the price of admission just to go ride that instead of having to pay for the Lightning Lane single pass or try to get in a virtual queue.
That's what I was going to say is if you don't have to pay for all the extras to get line, passing, jumping, whatever, then you can pay for the tickets for your family to go to a special event. You get, different entertainment, different foods, a whole different atmosphere, something you've never seen, different fireworks. And then you don't have to pay extra to jump lines, and you can just go on those rides that you would have had to. So, economically, it also might work out. And it's a bonus because it's not the same old Disney you're used to seeing. You get to see villains.
And
I will say I like going to the Halloween party on sometimes the night that you arrive to Disney. So let's say you have a flight and you come in at, you're getting to Disney World around 1:00 and you don't want to waste, let's say, a park ticket for that day. Halloween party tickets going to get you into the park at 4. I mean, that's still like half a day left if you take advantage of it all the way till midnight. It's an 8-hour day still, so the Halloween party or even the Christmas party is a great thing to do on your arrival day.
And the parks are better at night.
They are so Magic Kingdom is just beautiful at night.
Something about seeing it differently, like with all the lights and everything.
So I was going to say the lighting packages that they have on everything is just top notch. And I would prefer to be in Magic Kingdom tonight than to rope drop it any day.
I always like the pictures better at night. You're talking about getting the photo pass and everything. The pictures at night, like with the castles backlit behind you, with the purpley kind of, any kind of thing like that. There's still people all around, but the night kind of covers them. So your daylight pictures, you have all these strangers walking around behind you, but the night pictures are so illuminated and you kind of forget that there's people all around you. And some of the pictures look like you are the only ones out there. So, and I love Main Street lit up at night, like with the bulb lights. That's my favorite.
If you're not going to the Halloween party or the Christmas party, just be mindful of your Magic Kingdom days since the park closes at 6 p.m.
Yes.
They are
Yeah.
strict on that.
No dining reservations if you don't have a party ticket. So just be very mindful of that.
I usually tell, guests that are going to go to the Halloween party, if they want to go in at 4, because they want to get their, their money's worth and stuff like that. From 4 to 6, the park is really crowded because now you have your day guests plus your party guests.
Right.
So sometimes that's a great time to eat dinner. It's a great time to make a dining reservation. Like go in right at 4, but make a reservation like Crystal Palace or something for like 4:30. By the time you're done eating and everything, most of those crowds have been swept out. And then the party starts at 7 and you're good to go.
And it's good to note to get into the park for the Halloween party and even any special ticketed event that they're doing. They queue you up now before you go in. So you want to get to the park well before 4 o'clock to go in because it's going to be a long line to get in. So that's right there at the ferry, if I remember right. I don't know if they've changed it this year. But then you can get in, get going. Did you notice how they were handling people that are already in the park and didn't have tickets?
So they have, I think they call it the sweeper crew. So there's just a slew of extra cast members in the Magic Kingdom on party nights, and they're just looking for wristbands. So after 6 o'clock, if they see people not with wristbands, they kind of sweep up a group together and they just keep pushing them further and further and closer, to the exit. And somehow that works out every single night. It's amazing, what that crew does. But I will say for the day that we went, we actually had park tickets that day. So we were in the parks we were in Magic Kingdom by 3. And just so people know, you don't have to go to the front of the park to get your wristband for the party. They have stations, like 3 or 4 stations around the park that you can get your wristband. So we actually got ours right across from the Monsters Inc. floor. There was a spot there. And so we got our wristband there and just continued on with our night. So that was awesome.
I do like that they're fabric wristbands nowadays too, instead of those plastic ones.
Yeah, they're adjustable and you can make them looser, tighter. They are very nice.
The next episode we're going to do is Disney and Universal on the East Coast versus the West Coast. So what's the difference between those two? What do they have in common? Stuff that you can skip if it's your first time going to West Coast or coming to the East Coast. And I think that's going to be a fun little discussion to have. We'll have another agent on. Her name's Taylor, and she'll be there for her. She just went out last year for the first time, if I remember right, to the West Coast to do all that stuff. But until then, Christine, do you want to plug yourself and tell us how to get a hold of you if anybody wants to book a trip with you?
Yeah, thank you. So again, I'm located in Northwestern New Jersey, but I do have clients all around the world. You can reach me at Christine@magicaltravel.com. And then I'm Christine Rush on Facebook, and I'm Mickey Mom 007 on Instagram.
Well, Christine, we really did enjoy having you on this week, and thank you so much for all your information that you've helped us with today, and helping with families that will be going to the Not So Scary and that have to utilize the DAS systems for both the parks.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It was such a pleasure, and I hope myself as well as the rest of our team can help many more families visit Walt Disney World and Universal Orlando Resort and Universal Hollywood and Disneyland and Disney Cruise Line, all those great places that we love to send our clients to, because I'll be the first person to tell you it is doable. So let's get those people there, make those dreams come true.
Okay. And if you want to get a hold of any of us and book a trip through one of us, get us at www.magicaltravel.com. Just mention our podcast and you'll be linked to one of us, or you can be linked to any other travel agent that you want to within our great company. We're not exclusive to Disney and Universal. You do sandals and all that jazz. So that's going to be great. Safe travels, and we will see you on the next episode.